Hello, good morning students, welcome back. Myself Dr. JIBRAN Ahmed presents to you Simply Pathology, and today we are back with a very important topic, that is transplant rejection. So without wasting any time, let us move ahead. So a major barrier to the transplantation is a process of rejection. Yes, so this is a very important clinical problem that we are facing in today's world. So with the advancement of technology and science, okay, now cardiac transplantation, liver transplantation, lung transplantation and kidney transplant, all of them are being carried out. But a significant side effect of rejection of transplantation is tissue rejection, okay, in which what happens that the recipient's immune system is recognizing the graft as being foreign and attacks it. So basically the transplant rejection is a process in which the T lymphocytes and the antibodies produced against the graft antigen will react against and destroy the tissue graft. Okay, this is what is happening. So whenever a graft is exchanged between individuals of the same species, it is called as an allograft. Okay, from one human being to another human being is an allograft. But when it is between different species, for example a dog and a man, or example between a cat and a dog, so when they are different species, it is called as a xenograft. So xenograft is not common. Clinically, allograft are more common. What are the other types of graft that we know? Autograft, when a tissue or organ that is transplanted from one part to another part of the same body, that is called as an autograft. Okay, what is an isograft? So isograft or syngeneic graft is basically graft between identical twin or clone. Now we are going to see how these graft antigens, okay, they are recognized by the B and T lymphocytes. So you have to remember one thing before we go into the recognition part. You have to understand why rejection occurs. It occurs because of major antigenic differences between the donor and the recipient that results in the rejection of the transplant. Okay, they are the differences, okay, in the HLA allele. So the basic reason why there is an incompatibility between a donor and a recipient is that the donor and the recipient are having different HLA proteins or HLA genes or the MHC genes. If you remember, the HLA or is also the MHC. Okay, the MHC in case of human is called as HLA. Because among different individuals the HLA are different, that is why there is tissue incompatibility. Okay, remember the HLA alleles or the genes, they are highly polymorphic. That means they are highly variable across individuals, means that no two individual will have the same HLA except the twins. Okay, so the recognition of the graft alloantigens by the T and B lymphocytes, let us see. So basically after transplantation, remember the recipient's T cells are going to recognize the donor HLA antigen from the graft in two ways. Okay, so there are two ways by which the recipient T cell will recognize the donor HLA antigen, okay, from the graft. So remember the T cell, the recipient T cells always remain the same. Okay, so there are two pathways. One is the direct pathway and another one is the indirect pathway. So what happens in the direct pathway? In the direct pathway, remember the most important cells, they are the graft or the donor antigen presenting cell. Okay, it is the graft or the donor antigen presenting cell. So what is happening? The graft or the donor, okay, they are same. So the antigen presenting cells which are present in the graft or in the donor, okay, they are very important. Why? Because they directly present the graft antigen to the recipient T cell. So the graft antigen presenting cell presenting the antigen to the recipient T cell. Okay, similarly in the indirect pathway, the most important cells, they are the host or the recipient antigen presenting cell. So here the recipient antigen presenting cell will present the graft antigen. They will process it like any other foreign antigen and present it to the host or the recipient T cell or to the recipient T cell. So in the direct pathway, it is the donor APC which is basically presenting the graft antigen, and in the indirect pathway, it is the host or the recipient antigen presenting cell which is presenting the graft antigen to the recipient T cell. In both the pathways, it is going to lead to stimulation of CD8 plus T cells as well as CD4 plus T cell. So what will happen, as we already saw, the direct and indirect pathway, it is going to stimulate, okay, both the CD8 plus T cells and the CD4 plus T cell. Now the CD8 plus T cells, once stimulated, they are going to develop into the cytotoxic T cell, whereas the CD4 plus T cell will form cytokine producing effector cells, okay, called as T helper 1 cell. Remember one thing, that the direct pathway is most important for cytotoxic T cell mediated acute cellular rejection. So direct pathway is most important for acute cellular rejection, whereas the indirect pathway is most important in case of chronic rejection, okay, in case of chronic rejection. So now remember that the immune response of the T cells against the allografts, they are much more stronger than the normal response of the T cells against the pathogens. This is the basic reason that this strong reaction destroys the grafts rapidly. That is why tissue rejection occurs very soon. So basically what happens, that to control these, okay, so to control these rejection reaction, we need powerful immunosuppressants. Now one important question is, what is the role of B lymphocyte? Remember, the B cells, they also recognize the antigens which are present in the graft, including HLA and the others, and this recognition by the B cells requires the T cell help. Okay, now remember, what are the patterns and the mechanism of graft rejection? Let us see. So based on the clinical and the pathological feature, there are three important types of rejection. One is the hyperacute rejection, which occurs within minutes. It occurs very, very fast. Again, we are having acute rejection, which occurs in weeks to months. Actually, we should say in days to weeks to months. That is acute rejection. And chronic rejection occurs from months to years. So if we divide, again, rejection can be hyperacute, can be acute rejection. Now acute rejection can further be divided into acute cellular and acute humoral rejection, and we are having chronic rejection. Okay, so number one, we are going to start with the hyperacute rejection. Now what is hyperacute rejection? Now hyperacute rejection occurs within minutes, and if we look at the pathogenesis, it is occurring because of preformed antibodies. What is the meaning of preformed? Some antibodies which was already present in the body, and as soon as the graft was transplanted, there was a reaction. So in minutes the rejection occur. Okay, it is because of preformed antibodies which are already present in the host or in the recipient, which is going to attack the antigens which are present on the graft vascular endothelium. Okay, and these antigens are present in the donor, okay, in the donor or in the donor graft vascular endothelium. Okay, so now you must be asking, sir, from where are these preformed antibodies coming? These are coming because of a previous blood transfusion, or because of a previous pregnancy, or previous transplantation of any other organ. Okay, now what is the nature of this antigen? So what are these antigens which are present in the donor against which the preformed antibodies are there? These are the blood group antigens. So the preformed antibodies are attacking the blood group antigen, or they are also attacking the graft endothelial HLA molecule or MHC molecule. So whatever MHC or HLA molecules which are present on the surface of the endothelial cells, okay, they are acting as an antigen. Okay, now remember, hyperacute rejection is an example of type 2 hypersensitivity reaction. So once the antibody combines with the antigen, they are going to stimulate or activate the complement system, which is going to cause endothelial injury, thrombosis, as well as ischemic necrosis of the graft. So this is all about the pathogenesis of hyperacute rejection. Okay, now the morphology of the hyperacute rejection. So if you see under the microscope and also grossly, what you are going to see. So this is how you are going to see. So grossly, you are going to see a kidney which is cyanotic, mottled, and which is flaccid. Okay, so if you see under the microscope, what you are going to see, this is the glomerulus, kidney glomerulus, and here we are having peritubular capillaries. So what they are going to show, they are going to show acute fibrinoid necrosis of the arteriolar wall. So the arteriolar walls is going to show necrosis. Why? Because the preformed antibodies have gone and they have acted against the antigens. What are these antigens? The MHC antigens present on the vascular endothelial cells. Okay, and they have caused necrosis. Also, what you will find is the fibrin fibrin platelet thrombus formation, okay, that you will also see. These are the microthrombus. Plus you are going to see inflammatory cells, the neutrophils, which are present around the peritubular capillaries, also within the glomerulus they are present. So if you see the microscopic examinations, the important points are acute fibrinoid necrosis of the arteriolar walls, narrowing or complete occlusion of the lumen by the microthrombi, neutrophilic infiltration of the arterioles, glomerula and the peritubular capillaries, as well as you are going to see the kidney cortex necrosis, that is the infarction. Okay, so all these things, if you draw in your exam, you are going to get full marks. Okay, now we move ahead to acute rejection. Okay, let us see few points regarding acute rejection. So acute rejection occurs in weeks to months. If I be more precise, we can say that acute rejection occurs from days to weeks to months. Okay, it is mediated by the T cells and antibodies that are activated by the alloantigens in the graft. So both components are there. There is a T cell component which can cause rejection, there is an antibody component which can cause rejection. So acute rejection can be divided into two types: acute cellular rejection, and we are having acute antibody mediated rejection. So acute cellular rejection is mediated by the CD8 plus T cell as well as the CD4 plus T cell, whereas the antibody mediated rejection or the humoral or the vascular rejection is being mediated by the newly synthesized antibodies. See, the very important difference is these are newly synthesized antibodies, these are not preformed. Okay, followed by the antibody which is attacking the vascular endothelium, ultimately causing complement activation. Okay, so there are two main types. So let us first see the acute cellular rejection. So acute cellular rejection, if you see, what is the pathogenesis? So as you see, they are basically activating the CD8 plus cytotoxic T cells, which are directly going to destroy the graft cells. On the other hand, we are having CD4 plus T cells, which are not going to directly act on the graft, but they are instead going to release cytokines, which are going to recruit the neutrophils and the macrophages, that is going to damage the graft. Okay, so this basically is the pathogenesis of acute cellular rejection. Okay, by both CD8 plus T cells and CD4 plus T cell. Remember, the acute cellular rejection, a very important MCQ, it is a type of type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. Now moving ahead, the morphology of acute cellular rejection. So what is the morphology? Remember, the morphology of acute cellular rejection can be divided into three main types. There is the type 1 tubulointerstitial pattern, type 2 which is the vascular pattern which is characterized by inflammation, type 3 is also a vascular pattern but which is characterized by necrosis. Remember, there is a tubulointerstitial pattern. So the tubulointerstitial pattern, that is the first morphological pattern. What is happening? See, the term is tubulointerstitial, means the tubules are involved and the interstitium is involved. So number one, there is a tubular inflammatory cells leading to tubulitis. Okay, and in the interstitium you are having inflammatory cells. Okay, so this is causing interstitial inflammation. And remember, in the interstitium you are having the activated CD4 plus and CD8 plus inflammatory cells. Okay, so this is what you will see in the morphology of tubulointerstitial pattern. Okay, so it is characterized by tubular inflammation, interstitial inflammation, focal tubular injury. Now the second important pattern is the vascular pattern. So here is a vessel that I have drawn. So you are having the swollen endothelial cells over here. Okay, and what you will see, that inflammatory cells are present between the endothelium and the vessel wall. This is called as endothelitis or intimal arteritis. So that is the first important feature of the vascular pattern. And the second thing is you are having the swollen endothelial cells. Okay, now we are going to see about the acute humoral rejection. So acute humoral rejection, if you see, it is also called as acute vascular rejection or antibody mediated rejection, which is acute antibody mediated rejection. So if you see, the pathogenesis again is very simple. So here we are having a vessel, and if you see, the inner lining is the endothelium. Yes, now here there are certain antigens, that is the MHC antigens present on the endothelial cells. Okay, and the antibody, which is an alloantibody which recognizes these antigens. Okay, they will go and combine with the antigen and will lead to endothelialitis, that is inflammation of the vessel wall, which will lead to graft failure. So here again, the antigen which is present on the endothelium will combine with the antibody and will lead to complement activation by the classical pathway. Okay, ultimately what is the morphology of the acute humoral rejection? Let us see. So here first we have to understand that this is a type 2 hypersensitivity reaction, okay, and the morphology of the humoral rejection. So here we can see the tubules, okay, and these tubules, okay, as you can see the tubules over here, okay, and we are having the peritubular capillaries. What are the peritubular capillaries? Those that are surrounding the tubules, okay. Just one thing I would like to tell you is that here we are taking the kidney rejection, okay, as an example of the rejection, okay. Rejection which occurs in other organs are also like this, but kidney is the prototype, okay. That is why these are the tubules which are present in the kidney. So these tubules which are present, okay, and here there are the peritubular capillaries, okay. So what you are going to see, that there is inflammation of the peritubular capillaries. This is called as peritubular capillaritis. Also, if you do immunohistochemistry, you can see deposition of the complement breakdown product, that is C4D, on the outside of the vessel wall, okay. So this is what you see classically, okay, this is what you see classically. Now remember, so what are the important features? There is peritubular capillaritis and inflammation of the glomerulus. Also there is deposition of the complement product. So these are the two important features of acute humoral rejection. Now we are going to see the third important leg, that is the chronic rejection. Again, very important. So chronic rejection, it occurs within months or years. It is an indolent form of graft damage that occurs over months or years, leading to progressive loss of graft function. So if you look at the pathogenesis, there is a gradual narrowing of the graft vessel, okay, graft blood vessels, okay, because of graft arteriosclerosis. And over here, very important that both CD4 plus T cell and antibodies are involved. So again, it is both type 4 hypersensitivity reaction as well as type 2 hypersensitivity reaction, okay. Okay, so what happens over here? What is the pathogenesis? Let us see. So this is the blood vessel, if you see, okay, and here we are having the antibodies which are binding to the endothelial antigens. So the inner lining is the endothelium, and then outer side you are having the vascular smooth muscle cells, okay. So what is happening, that the alloantigens, okay, the alloantigen specific CD4 plus T cells are releasing certain cytokines, and this cytokine is actually causing intimal smooth muscle proliferation, ultimately leading to vessel wall narrowing and also causing chronic inflammatory cell reaction in the vessel wall, okay. This is what is happening. Now what is the morphology of chronic rejection? Let us see. So if you see, this is the morphology of the chronic rejection. So there is, so at the level of the glomerulus, if we see, what we find, that there is accumulation of the mesangial matrix followed by inflammatory cell infiltration within the glomerular capillary loops called as glomerulitis, and there is duplication of the capillary basement membrane, okay. This is very important. At the level of the tubules, okay, at the level of the tubules and peritubular capillary, if you see, these are the tubules, the kidney tubules, okay. So and these are the peritubular capillaries. There is a intimal narrowing with lumen narrowing. So the peritubular capillaries, the lumen of that is become narrowed, okay, leading to multi-layering. There is a multi-layering of the peritubular capillary basement membrane, and because of the lumen narrowing, there is interstitial fibrosis and tubular atrophy because of prolonged ischemia, okay. There is graft arteriosclerosis. So at the level of the vessels, we are having intimal thickening and vascular occlusion, peritubular capillaritis with multi-layering of the peritubular capillary basement membrane. At the level of the glomerulus, we are having glomerulopathy characterized by glomerulitis as well as duplication of the capillary basement membrane due to chronic endothelial injury. And at the level of the interstitium, we are having interstitial fibrosis and tubular atrophy. Okay, now remember few important points, that acute cellular rejection, remember, is important to recognize, as in absence of humoral rejection, most patients will respond well to immunosuppressive therapy. So ACR is a good thing, okay, because we can control it. And remember that chronic rejection is increasingly becoming refractory and becoming the principal cause of graft failure. So this is all about the transplant rejection, the pathogenesis, the mechanism, and the morphology. Hope you have liked this lecture. Thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for further lectures. Myself, Dr. JIBRAN Ahmed. Thank you so much.